So, who you dating now? I'm a pretty mellow guy. Not a real macho, not much for fighting, but it got to the point where I actually thought about punching people in the face when they asked me that. Dealing with the pressure to date. That's our topic this week. Hey, this is Todd. Welcome to the Thrive Singles Podcast. Whether you're single again or still single, stop hating being single and learn to thrive. And welcome to this week's thrilling installment of the Thrive Singles Podcast. I'm so glad you decided to join me here today. I really am. First, I just have to ask you something. Did you go to thrivesingles.com and get my free ebook yet? You really should. It's pretty good. But now back to the topic at hand, the pressure to date. We've all heard these questions. So who are you dating now? Are you dating anyone yet? Why aren't you dating anyone yet? Are you gay? We've all been the recipients of lots of encouraging words. You're so pretty, I know you'll find someone. You're such a great catch, I can't believe you aren't dating anyone. I know there's someone special out there just for you. And we've all heard the cliche advice, just be patient, good things come to those who wait. You need to smile more. And more advice. You're just trying too hard. You're not trying hard enough. You should lose a little weight. Color your hair. Dress to impress. Don't be so pretentious. Dress down a little bit. Be more accessible. Be more aloof and play hard to get. You got to learn to play the game. You need to stop playing games and get serious. And all of that advice is given with the express purpose of helping you start dating. Because obviously, if you're not dating within their expected time frame, your life has no meaning, and you are doomed to be lonely and unfulfilled forever. Like I've said before, I believe you shouldn't date, as in having some sort of marriage-light, long-term relationship. But I believe you should date, as in going out and having a little non-sexual, non-romantic fun with people of the opposite sex. That's good and healthy, and it's profitable for learning about yourself and other people. All that being said, maybe you've been through a divorce or breakup or bereavement. You should be the one who decides when you're ready to date again. Only you know where you are mentally and how ready you are emotionally. Don't let outside pressure rush you into something you're not ready for. Or maybe you haven't been through a divorce, a breakup, or a bereavement. Maybe you just, for whatever reason, don't want to date. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all right. Taking a little time off and just being single is exactly the right thing to do sometimes. So where does all this pressure come from? Well, it comes at you from everywhere. Some of it comes from external sources like friends, family, and society, but some of it also comes from your own internal drives, too. A lot of pressure comes from those closest to you, your friends, your family. Now, please understand, they usually do it with the best of intentions. They're probably not trying to annoy you or make you feel bad. Well, probably. I mean, I don't know your family. I guess I can't rule it out for some of you. But for most of you, your family and friends, they just want to see you happy. And to be happy, obviously, you need to be in a relationship. If you're not, you must be lonely, unfulfilled, and happy, right? In fact, our culture glorifies dating to the point where it's just ridiculous. Being happily unattached is as foreign to modern society as tithing, saving sex for marriage, or going to church every Sunday. They just have no frame of reference. Almost every major book, film, television show, recording artist, celebrity, news outlet, they all have the same underlying perspective of sex being for any consenting adults, dating being a sexual relationship, and living together being the new normal. It takes strong convictions to stand up to this constant media barrage. And if all of that isn't enough, you also have to contend with your own internal drive to be part of a couple. There's a natural yearning in our hearts for companionship and intimacy. But your internal pressure gets amplified even further by all of that outside pressure you face every day. It's hard not to internalize what you hear and see from so many sources every single day. In the end, the decision to date or not date is your decision. Let me just point out that there are good and bad reasons not to date. If you're not dating because of fear or a lack of confidence, it's time to get over that and get past that. Sooner or later, if you ever want companionship and intimacy with another person, you're going to have to get past all that and start the process of finding a spouse. That means overcoming that fear and lack of confidence and going out on dates. But the timing of that, that's up to you, not your family, not your friends, and certainly not society. On the other hand, there are some really good reasons to not date, at least for a while. One great reason is just to take a break, especially if you have a history of serial dating. Sometimes you just need to hit that reset button and just be single for a while. Sometimes it's necessary to not date for a period of time. If you have recently been through a divorce, a breakup, or a bereavement, now's not the time to start dating. Now's the time to grieve. It's the time to sort through your feelings and heal up emotionally. There'll be time for going on dates later when you're healed up and stronger. Another reason you might not be dating is that you simply don't have opportunities. Now, that's a subject for a whole nother podcast episode. If that's an issue for you, maybe go check out my post on thrivesingles.com called How to Go on More Dates. While you're there, just check out a bunch of my stuff on dating. I think you'll find it enjoyable and helpful. But that, like I said, that's an issue for a whole nother podcast episode. So how do you manage all that pressure to date? If the pressure to date is mostly from friends and family, you need to sit them down, have a frank talk with them. Be direct. Briefly explain why you're not dating. Assure them that you're okay and that this is a good thing for this season of your life. Gently, but forcefully, tell them to stop it. Stop pressuring you. If there are friends and family who won't stop, and there probably will be, just limit your interaction with them. Instead, go find more emotionally and spiritually healthy, like-minded people to hang around with. Another time to limit exposure is when the pressure is from society. Now, you can't totally isolate yourself from the culture you live in, but you can limit your exposure to the worst of it and spend your time doing things that are more helpful. The one person you can't limit your exposure to is yourself. But if you limit your exposure to friends and family and the elements of culture that are not helpful, your thought life should be easier to manage. Of course, there's still the almost universal human urge to be close to someone of the opposite sex. That's harder to deal with. I have no magic bullet or fix for that one. But maybe that doesn't need fixing. Maybe it's simply a matter of realizing that the internal pressure to connect is normal and healthy, but that it's okay to delay that urge until the time is right. I can tell you from firsthand experience, there's a lot to be said for delayed gratification. So what about you? Are you at a time in your life when you're not dating? If you are, how do you handle it when friends and family pressure you? Let's talk about it in the comment section or over on Facebook or Twitter. I hope to see you there. And don't forget to subscribe to the Thrive Singles blog at thrivesingles.com and get your free ebook. You'll also get reminders each week when I release the new podcast episode. And did I mention it's free? Oh, and one more thing. If you have a comment or question and you don't want it to be public, drop me a line at ask@thrivesingles.com. I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. See you next week. Till then, be sure to subscribe and go check out my extensive archive of past posts at thrivesingles.com. And thrive on.
Whoa, thrive. Yeah, come alive. there's more to life. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive. Whoa, whoa, you gotta thrive. There's more to life than to just survive. You gotta grow, you gotta thrive.